Hey guys, welcome to today's video. I'm Sarah. This is Numubuzin Beauty. So I've got some fun things to talk about today. I'm going to talk about kbeauty. And really quick, I want to let you guys know my 6th annual awards show will be appearing on YouTube Monday, I believe. So check it out. Be sure to subscribe and like this video. I had fun working on this video, and videos I really enjoy working on sometimes are the ones that do the worst. So if you actually like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you don't, give it a thumbs down. Leave a comment. Sorry for my absence for the last few days. I've been kind of sick. I had to fast for about 5 days, so was not feeling the best. Couldn't eat anything, basically for 5 days. So I got some IVs. It doesn't look that bad. The last IV really was painful. So colonoscopy. You have to do it if you have a family history of it. They recommend a certain age, or once you get over 45, they recommend it. So anyway, so yeah, so do that because it's a good thing to do, but it sucks. But you should do it anyway. Okay, on to today's video. What has changed since 2020 in the Korean sunscreen scandal? What happened then, and what has changed now? And what do I recommend doing based on it? So, bless you. That was cameraman. Okay, so what happened, if you're not in the loop, as to about 5 years ago, in 2020, Korean sunscreen scandal affected several brands, tons of sunscreens that tested for lower levels of SPF than they labeled it. So they called a mislabeling scandal, or a mistesting schedule, or kind of lying by omission. This one that's advertised at SPF 50 actually came up around 19. This was where it began, and it kind of was led by the founder of the Decoder website. So kind of interesting. So it sparked a lot of concern and investigation. So they basically the scandal stemmed from the use of non-standardized Korean in vitro testing methods, inadequate oversight of third-party testing labs, and SPF values being highly inflated on the packaging without any solid in vivo evidence. So in vitro would be in cell, in vivo is on the person or on an actual sample. So brands that were involved, where they are today. This is kind of what led me on this video, because I was kind of curious where some of these brands are. So Purito is kind of where it all stemmed from. This one became so popular so fast by so many people, and it basically failed miserably. So many people were recommending this. I was apprehensive looking at the levels of 2 filters around 1 to 2%. However, looking at some other science-y sites, they were recommending it. So I thought I had to be wrong. But my gut feeling was like, God, that seems like a low amount compared to what other brands have. How can that be? Maybe there's something special about it. But the SPF actually is not anywhere near 50, tested between 19 and 25. They had a lot of follow. They've voluntarily withdrew their sunscreens. They've relaunched a couple sunscreens, but nothing has really taken off since then. Yeah, the reviews of the recent 2 launches have been kind of tepid, and I've tried them both, and that's what I feel. Klairs was also a big one. Their Airy Soft Essence SPF 50. The SPF of that one actually showed us between 12 and 15. So you think you're getting SPF 50 protection, you're putting 12 on. That's a big problem. Sun damage is the biggest ager that we can experience, and sunscreen is the main anti-aging ingredient product we should be using. And when they test so poorly, a lot of people have probably damaged skin that they didn't need to had they known. So they pulled it, and their newest sunscreen I like during the winter and mild days, but during the sunniest of days I wouldn't ever wear it. Most of these I wouldn't wear on the sunniest of days, but I've got something I will recommend. Keep Cool. Anybody remember them? Not so much anymore. Their Soothe Bamboo Sun Essence SPF 50. Test showed it was about 16 to 20. The brand actually looks like doesn't exist. They haven't posted anything. Their website domain has been sold. They attacked other influencers and reviewers. They even legally apparently threatened people. And once people found out about the legal threats on reviewers, they took a massive nosedive and don't exist today, it seems like. So yeah, so that's with that. Yeah, so yeah, their website went inactive in 2021. Lincoln, you're good. Lincoln likes to make his little nest, but it's kind of noisy. So yeah, so their Instagram isn't out there anymore, so it looks like they kind of went away. kbeauty, another one, their Beach Shield sunscreen. This one came back. They didn't actually ever claim an SPF on it in the US market, but they relied on the Korean lab's testing for their sunscreen results. They refused to release the results to anybody, which was, in my opinion, crappy. They should have at least released the test, or at least told people where it was at, so you have some idea of how badly it might have damaged your skin. They've launched another sunscreen, but you know what, this brand has had so many controversies regarding the owner of it, so yeah, they're still out there, but they're not what they were. And people trusted them for their sunscreen, and they lied about it, and then they didn't release the test results, which I think is even shadier. So what has changed since then? So in 2021 of June, so it's South Korea's Ministry for Food and Drug Safety. It would be similar to the United States FDA, adopted international standards for SPF, UVA, and water resistance to ensure more accurate results and claims. Enhanced documentation for the raw materials used to make sunscreen, the origin, development, and testing of these, safety and efficacy, stricter standards for water resistance claims. Now on a lot of these, you don't really see water resistant, waterproof. Waterproof is not technically a term that's really supposed to be used in the US. Water resistant is allowed to be used, but water resistant gives people inaccurate information. They think it's water resistant when no, sunscreen is totally water resistant. The sunscreen definitely isn't as effective after it's been exposed to water and you towel off and things like that. So what Korea's did is the water resistance claims are now regulated, requiring products to retain at least 50% of their SPF after water exposure and verified through standard testing. And then in August of last year, they proposed updates to cosmetic safety standards by adding a new UV filter and tightening ingredient limits to align with safety assessments and enhance consumer protection and oversight of testing laboratories. Where it really got interesting was Korean sunscreens were typically made in a couple different ways, one by a giant lab or two by the brand. Sunscreens that were manufactured by a giant company were not tested the same way as, say, a small brand that actually made their sunscreens was. So like a brand like IOPE, IOPE, their sunscreen was found to be okay. And they manufactured it themselves, and it had a different testing. So different sunscreens were tested in different ways from different labs with different standards. And that's really where it became a mess, because most of these labs, most of these sunscreens, probably Purito, Keep Cool, Claire's, at least those three, they're probably, I think we're using one of a couple different manufacturers. So that's why there were so many that failed so quickly. And then smaller indie brands like IOPE or Shiseido, I believe, made their own, didn't fall through. So as of today, what Korean sunscreen do I trust and use? There's a handful of them. However, on a very hot sunny day, it's 80, it's 90, it's 100, it's sunny. Honest to God, on a day like that, I'm wearing this, and probably this is one of the ones I trust more than most other brands. So Bioderma is another brand I trust with their European sunscreens, not their US made sunscreens. But this one is made in Europe, and it contains several filters. I think it contains 8 filters. On the sunniest, hottest day of the year, this is the one I pick. Okay, if it's not the hottest, sunniest day of the year, it's just an average winter day, an average light summer day, I'm not going to be out a ton. These are ones I like from Korea. P-Calm Water Barrier Sun Cream, very nice, no fragrance. It works well. It's got nice filters in it. Again, hottest, sunniest day of the year, not going to use it, but on an average day like today, I'd use it. This is the one I'm using today, the Cosrx Ultra Invisible Light Sunscreen. It's fragrance free, it's alcohol free, it's very nice, it feels hydrating, it's transparent, feels nice under foundation and things like that. I enjoy this one. This one I've repurchased, the Beauty of Joseon Aqua Fresh Relief Sunscreen. This one's really nice. I've went through a tube of it. I bought it for several of my relatives and friends, so I really enjoy this one. It's very nice. This one has become the new most popular sunscreen on the block, and the increase in popularity of this has caused the U.S. to banter down on Korean-made sunscreens a lot because this has got so popular. The U.S. believes that there's only a handful of crappy filters that work. Unfortunately, our FDA is far, far, far behind everything going on. So U.S.-made chemical sunscreens compared to anything else are not that great. I love this one. The Numubuzin #1 Clear Filter Essence. This one's very nice, fragrance-free, very light. So this one's also a really nice chemical sunscreen. And the Round Lab Birch Juice Sunscreen is also great. These are my 5 favorite kbeauty sunscreens, if you had to ask me today. I love these. Skin 1001 has a great sunscreen. There's a lot of nice ones. These are my current favorites. You know, I like these. They're all unscented, so you don't have any scent. And they're all non-drying. Most of them are pretty alcohol-free. So a lot has changed since that happened. Some brands don't exist. Some brands exist less. And a lot changed, and I'm glad it did because if you believe you're wearing SPF 50, you're relying on that for your health and safety. Skin cancer is very common. I'll do another video on skin cancer probably this week because of a friend of mine. So I'm going to talk more about that. But that's what killed Jimmy Buffett, many other people. It's nothing to joke around with. It's nothing to take lightly. That's why what they do is important. It's important to be transparent. And there's not a lot of transparency going on before 2020. Thankfully, Instant Decoder, they did a great job figuring this out for us because I think a lot of people like me were wondering, how can that be so effective when this is labeled SPF 50, the same as this that has 6 filters? You know what I mean? Like, so how does this have the same as the Isn't Tree Watery Sun Gel, which has a bunch of filters? It didn't make sense. So now the pieces have been connected thanks to them, thanks to labs, and thanks to research. Anyway, leave a comment with your thoughts and stay tuned for my award show coming out Monday. Thanks so much. Bye, guys.